Hello, and welcome to In the Court of Wenton Knave. We've got to a milestone, an important moment. This is the beginning of the final, well, the current epoch of the band. The fifth epoch, which we never thought would happen. It's a project. Scarcity of Miracles. The what now? What's that? Well, this is fantastic. This is a wonderful album. It's not King Crimson, it's a project. I think it actually says a King Crimson project. So it does say King Crimson on it, but it's not King Crimson. But it is a project, so, you know. Where did this come from? In 2008, Fripp had to retire from the music business to fight Virgin, I think, who kept putting the King Crimson music on iTunes, and they kept saying, you haven't got the rights to do that, and they took it off again. And then they put it back on again, and they say, you haven't got the rights to do this, and they take it off. And they put it back on again. So he had to give up to fight that. And in a way, we thought that was, I think everyone thought that was it, really. We wouldn't get anything else. I mean, what's wrong with these people? They're so dishonest that they think that Digium won't notice. They won't notice, it'll be fine. So every time they do it, you know, but eventually I assume they've won because it's not on there. It's very difficult to get the albums. I think, oh no, actually no, I think they are now on there. Oh, they're on Amazon anyway. I think you can get the electronic version of albums on Amazon, I believe. So yeah, Fripp and Jakszyk, who was not a member of King Crimson, of course, remember, but was in the 21st Century Skittles band, of course. They had a jam. No plan, no expectations. They just had a jam, and Fripp did soundscapes and Jacko did some, I think, some arpeggios kind of stuff. Must have been to a metronome, otherwise this wouldn't have been possible, surely. No plan, no expectations. That's the thing. So Tony Levin and Gavin Harrison stuck a rhythm on it, amazingly, and it fits fantastically. And not only that, even more awesomely, here we are. Mel Collins providing sax. It's listed as Jakszyk, Fripp and Collins, which is slightly unfair to the rhythm section, but it's something very special. Confusingly, recently, obviously because we lost John Wenton very recently, that DGM released a track from Wenton, Fripp and Collins. Not that Collins, it was Phil Collins actually. So that's another thing that's worth listening to on DGM. And it turns out, of course, this is the prototype for the next Crim. No one would have predicted that. Can't have been planned that way. I don't think so. It's awesome. This is great. The organic way it was put together must have played a part in why it's so good. They didn't plan to make an album, they just did a thing and stuff happened and put it all together, and you know. Fripp says, one of my favourite albums where I am a defining element. That's what Fripp says. In a way, this is a destination for the soundscapes. You have soundscape music in songs. So that's great. You know, a bit like One Time. One Time is similar kind of music to this, really. Washes of awesome. It's laid back in a sense. It's not music or anything like that. It isn't, but it's laid back. It's, you know, the vocals and the saxophone, perfect for the style. It's the most Euro sounding thing they've done for a while. That's mostly the vocals, because obviously Jacko sounds very Euro, slightly jazzy in his voice. The first track is the best track, I think. But all of it's very much similar, despite bits of dissonance, so it gets kind of more evil as it goes along. The next thing after this was the Crimson Project, which should be mentioned as well. I'm not going to do the Crimson Project. And Three of a Perfect Pair Camp as well as another thing. Levin, Masterlotto and Baloo doing that. So those things are interesting as well. But I'm not going to do this. I'm only going to do this one. Okay. So yeah, track one is A Scarcity of Miracles, the title track. Fantastic song. It's just a fantastic song. Obviously they still play it. Or they did last year in 2016. I assume the arpeggios and the soundscapes of that was the original track and things have been put on top of that. Track two, The Price We Pay. Step change from track one. It starts with sort of what I call Chinese sounding stuff. It's really good. Track three is Secrets. Subdued jazzy vocals and soundscapes. A bit Power to Believe 1, kind of, if you like. And the drums come in halfway through. Track four is This House. Some really evil dissonant soundscapes, or baboon type stuff, but with vocals. Really nicely fits together with the bass part and the guitar solo and everything. Then we have track five is The Other Man. Saxophone and guitar intro, sustained stuff in the background, then some really heavy guitar. Most Crimson track on there, I think. It's 4 and 5 of the most Crimson-y tracks. Heavy guitar, I mean, One More Red Nightmare, it's that kind of thing. I think it's actually frame by frame. Actually, maybe. Reminds me of Hidden Lands, that band we reviewed a while ago, interestingly. Really dynamic at the end, really good. And finally, track 6, another very special thing, The Light of Day. Very jazzy intro, some non-soundscape stuff. It takes really long to get going. It's
You can tell when they play it live as well. There's no fixed pulse to it. They have to follow it. So obviously, the way this is constructed, obviously that's the way it came out. Very sinister, very crim. You keep expecting it to go into like just a nice rhythm, some respite, and it doesn't. It just keeps going. Oh my god! It just builds and builds and builds. So the ending is some of the scariest stuff in King Crimson history, actually. Interestingly, I think. Wow. This is a must. Great album. Great album. Obviously, 2 of them were played live. That's 1 and 6. Good stuff. See you next week.